Hi guys! So I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for joining me today. So today is Friday, January the 15th. It's 5 p.m. and I'm recording my weekly inspirations podcast to share with you a bit of knitting and yarn dyeing. My name is Christelle, so if you're new to the podcast, thank you so much for checking me out, and if you are a returning viewer, well, thank you so much for spending this little bit of time with me again. So today, also I wanted to tell you all the usual stuff before we dig into the week's contents. So you can find the notes for the podcast by clicking on plus just below the screen. I try to be as thorough as possible in the notes, and you will find all the useful links. The most useful link is the newsletter. It's sent once a week on Mondays. I was a bit late last week, sorry about that, but usually it's sent on Mondays, and it goes hand in hand with the podcast, and it's usually sent at the same time. The podcast is uploaded on YouTube every Monday at 5 p.m. Paris time. So what you can expect is just the news of Tricot Stitch, news about the shop updates, news about the events, and so that's the best way to make sure you're not missing anything. Otherwise, that's it basically. Once you've subscribed to the newsletter, you're covered. And as a welcome gift, I'm offering you a pattern for a shawl. A knitting pattern for a shawl. That's called the Jimmy shawl if you want to check it out on Ravelry. My designer name is Tricot Stitch, the same name as the Etsy shop. So also I wanted to thank you so much for using the Tricot Stitch hashtag on social media, basically Instagram, because I'm not much active on other social media platforms. And I have an ongoing monthly call. So for the month of January, it's the January FO Fanfare, and you can participate by posting a picture of your Tricot Stitch project using either yarn or pattern or both on Ravelry or on Instagram with this hashtag. So that's Tricot Stitch FO Fanfare Jan 2021. And what's the prize this month? Oh yes, it's the month, so it's January colorway for the sock knitter Almanac. So that's Nuit d'hiver on Extrafine Fingering. So I don't have it with me. I should think about that in advance. Sorry about that. I will show it to you next in the next episode, and if you want to just have a look at it, I've shown it in the previous episode 1 of season 2 of Inspirations. So guys, what's up this week? Not much knitting done, I'm afraid. I was very productive, and I had a lot of knitting done during the holidays, but I must admit getting back to work was a bit hard. It was hard. I was very tired, and I was, I don't know if that was just the follow through from the holidays where the kids were sick, I was sick, maybe I had a hard time getting on my feet again. So I was so tired. I didn't do much. I didn't even have the energy to knit in the evenings. So that's it. It's not a problem. I will knit more next week. I don't want to, be too hard on myself. So not much knitting to share with you, but there is something very fun I want to discuss with you, because, I knit a lot, but I also love to cross stitch. And first of all, I didn't know there was such a popular hashtag on YouTube for cross stitch. It's called FlossTube, and when you search FlossTube on YouTube, there is a wealth a huge amount of videos about cross stitching, and it's a great way to, you know, link and see other cross stitcher in action, and it's a delight. It's really a delight. So I'm so happy I found that. Actually, I stumbled upon it on Instagram because somebody mentioned she was doing a WIPGO for her work in progress, and she explained that it was an initiative that derived from a cross stitcher named JC, Mary Makes Stuff. So that's her idea, and it's actually for cross stitching, and it's because, you know, I've been cross stitching for a few years now, and I have a lot of work in progress, more than in knitting. I think I have over 30 work in progress. I have never finished anything and I just love starting new projects, and I love the stitch alongs, and I love to take part in the stitch alongs, but usually I'm super motivated at the beginning, and then I don't have time, and you know, knitting and yarn dyeing have the priority, so I'm afraid cross stitch comes last, although I love it. So Jessie, I think that's her name, or Mary, Jessie Mary, she had that idea to make sure to make some progress on her work in progress. She had that idea of WIPGO that's based on bingo, like the US bingo, and so you have a grid like this. Okay, I'm super stoked about this. I so want to do this year. So it's a grid of 5 by 5 squares, and you see they are numbered from 1 to 25, and number 13 is in the middle, and usually that's the free space. So the idea, you can watch, I will link Jessie Mary Makes Stuff video explaining the WIPGO principles if you wish in the notes. But the idea is to put one project in each square, and not just a project but an objective linked to the project. So that's important, because if you have a sweater that you've just started, or a year-long stitch along that you want to finish, it's important to set goals, because you want them to be achievable, not like stitch 12 months worth of stitch along in one installment. That's not possible unless you do that 8 hours per day for 31 days in a row. Otherwise it's not doable. So you want to, I think the idea behind this is to have some steps that are achievable, something that you can, you know, you can do. And so that's what I did for my WIPGO, because I thought that, you know, using that principle for knitting is such a good idea. And I put, well, first of all, I need to say that I didn't have enough work in progress to fill in 25 squares. So I'm so good. I'm good. I do not have a whip problem. I'm so well. So, okay, I had to, you know, put some objectives in there. So for example, I have 2 love note sweaters. That's that pattern. That's my first love note. So I have 2 others on the needles because I love that pattern, in different stage of completion. The first one, I'm close to finishing the body. I have 4 inches of stockinette to finish the body, and then the sleeves and the collar and the neck. And for the other, I'm at the lace. So what I did is that I split the first one that is nearest the completion, nearer the completion, into, I split in 2 squares, and the third one, yes, the third one, for which I'm at the lace. I split it in 3 squares. That's the idea, to make the steps achievable in a month time. So I managed to, you know, by splitting the project in achievable steps, I managed to fill in the 25 squares. Well, 24 because 13 obviously is free. I decided to keep it free. And the idea is that Jessie Marie will be announcing 2 numbers per month, each month on the 27th of the previous month. So she drew 2 numbers for the month of January on the 27th of December, and the numbers were 6 and 13. And because if you draw 13, which is the middle of the grid, and it's a free space, she had to draw another number. So the numbers for January are 6, 13, and 18. So that's the projects you will want to work on for January. And because I wasn't there when it started, and because I had already set myself some objectives for January, I just put my already stated objectives in the 6th and 18th squares for January. So that's just finish my Christmas socks and finish the Inglenook Fibers spin along for the month of January. That's perfect, that's what I wanted to do. And for the rest of the year, it's mystery and complete suspense. I don't know. But in there I need to finish, I have 2 squares for my Tales of the Isle of Purbeck mystery call. I have altogether 5 squares for both my Love Knot sweaters. I have 2 squares for my Westfield Wanderer. I have some sock darning and sewing to do. I have 2 colorwork mittens, 2 pairs of colorwork mittens. I have another sweater to finish. I have some spinning projects I want to you know, to complete. So yeah, 12 squares per month, and hopefully by the end of the year this will help me to drastically cut down on the number of works in progress, because I mean, in itself it's not a problem to have so many works in progress, but I really want to use the finished objects. I want to wear the love notes, I want to wear the shawls, I want to wear the socks, I want to have them, because I really am in love with the projects and I want them to be finished. So that's why I think it's a great idea. And actually I watched her podcast episode where she explains all the rationale behind the idea and how it came to her and everything. It was very interesting, and it's pretty funny because it started in 2018 and she thought about that for her, and she wanted to include her bestie in that initiative and do that with her bestie because they shared the same work in progress problem, cross-stitch work in progress problem. And actually her bestie thought it was such a good idea, and then the stitching community thought it was such a good idea that the thing exploded. I think that for 2018, 19 and 2020 they reached over 1,000 participants, and for this year, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's close to 2,000 participants in the Facebook group. So yeah, it's great, and now it's spilling out to other crafty areas like knitting. I don't know if some crocheters want, you know, jump on the wagon as well. And I mean, you could apply that to almost anything. I mean, it's goal setting with a dash of you know, unknown, so it's exciting. And oh yes, what I forgot to mention is that when you have a line like vertical, horizontal or diagonal, you can have a reward. So it could be starting a new project, it could be, I don't know, buying some yarn, buying some supplies, or anything you fancy. You just make the rules that you like. And if you want to have a reward, you can. If you want to, it depends on how you are managing your hobby. But really, it needs some thinking about on your part to make it your own. And I think it's a terrific idea, and I'm really happy to be participating in that. So I'm not going to include cross stitch in that because I've already decided that I'm going to work on the 2020 stitch along that I've not finished for 2021. And I must say there's a caveat, because my favorite cross stitch pattern designers have not released their 2021 stitch along, yearly stitch along yet. Should be, you know, released like in the coming days. So I do not. I think, yeah, maybe if I have a huge crush on it, I will just, you know, put away 2020 stitch along and start over on the new one. Anything to, you know, with those times, I mean, you just take the joy where it is, right? You just, I mean, I'm really doing that right now. I'm still listening to Christmas songs because I don't want it to be over, because January is just the Monday of the year and I find it so depressing. And I mean, Jamie Cullum has such a gorgeous Christmas album this year. I feel like I could be listening to it all year long. So yeah, I'm still listening to Christmas songs and it makes me feel happy. And Jamie Cullum is, I don't know why I didn't know the guy. I knew the name, but he wasn't in my radar until his Christmas song, his Christmas album, this last album, like November or October 2020, November 2020, I think it went out. It's gorgeous and I love the guy. I love the guy. I mean, he's passionate about music. You could listen to him talking about music for hours. He has a fantastic show on the BBC that's actually broadcast in France every Friday at 7 p.m. on a French radio station dedicated to jazz. And I love the guy. So I'm just, you know, discovering all he's done so far, and I'm loving it. So I think I found like a golden nugget. If that makes sense. And for the time being, my favorite album is the Christmas album. It's only original songs, like no classics, no Christmas carols or Christmas classics. It's only originals, and yes, it's Christmassy, but not too much either. So yes, that was just very quickly. Yeah, I really think that in January in general, and especially this January with COVID crisis and everything, just take the joy where it is. No questions asked. Not always easy to just pronounce everything correctly. So please forgive me if sometimes it's a bit blurry. It's not very accurate, my pronunciation, but yeah, it's not always easy. Okay, so that's it for the WIPGO. What I wanted to tell you is that if you want, I will put those files, it's Excel, on a link, on a Google Drive link, if you want to download them and make them your own and put your projects, and if you want to play along. I will be announcing, not announcing, but repeating the numbers that Jessie Mary will draw each month. So the next drawing will be on January the 27th. And again, for January this month, it's 6, 13 and 18. And we'll see when we have a WIPGO. So fun. Okay, I love this. I love this. Then I wanted to show you quickly what I've dyed this week. I've been pretty busy with procrastinating because I was so tired, and you know, my studio is in my basement and it's super cold. So I've been, I think, sorting everything I could sort and tidying everything I could tidy before I finally got around to go to the studio and dye some yarn. I mean, no, I was so tired. I really wasn't up to spending like 8 hours dyeing yarn. It wasn't, no, I couldn't. So I've been planning like crazy because it's my favorite way of procrastinating. It's planning. And usually I do not follow the plans. But planning makes me feel like, you know, organized and productive, and yeah, I love to plan. Yesterday I didn't plan. Yesterday I did dye. I just went in the studio and said to myself, enough procrastinating, now you have to dye yarn. And okay, and I'm going to start working on the pre-orders for the Almanac like tomorrow, because that's the problem when you procrastinate too much. At the end you build up the pressure and then you have to work on weekends. Anyway, so I wanted to show you some new colorways and some colorways that I hadn't dyed for a big length of time. I don't know why. Actually it's the consequence that I put together the nuancier. So there's a list of colors on my website of the Tricot stitch colors. So it's a big achievement for me, and I'm super proud to have this list of colors with all the pictures. It was a lot of work, and now it's available, and now I completed it with all the new colors I dyed recently, so I'm super happy about that. I did that last week, for example. And watching and looking at the list of colors, I thought that there was a bunch, like 5 or 6 colors that I hadn't dyed for a while, without any good reasons, because I mean they were gorgeous. So I decided to dye them yesterday, and I'm going to show them to you. So there are some new ones, like this one that I decided to call Dark and Moody, and it's, yeah, because it will be a love note update on Monday. Well, it's a love note update because you're watching this on Monday, so today is love note day, and I'm sporting my first love note that I love. Okay, so this colorway is Dark and Moody, that's his name, and it's a blend of dark and moody colors. And this is the same on Syrian silk. You have some grays, some blues, some purple, mauve really, and browns. I mean, it's a gorgeous colorway if you like things dark and moody. So that's the first one, and I had a great time because, you know, I just dyed some beautiful colors that I hadn't in a while on gorgeous bases. So this is MCN and Syrian silk. The other color I want to show you is Blush. This has never been in the shop. I dyed this for a friend's birthday, and it never hit the shop, so that's the first time ever it's in the shop, although it's in the list of colors available, you know, if you want to a custom order. So I dyed this on Mohair and Silk and MCN again, and it's a beautiful pearl base, pearl gray, very light, with a dash of speckles in gold, pink and browns. Lovely together. Oops, everything is falling out. Okay. Then there is a new colorway, so that's on the Merkid base, so that's a mix of mohair and merino, and it's super soft and very sleek. And I dyed also a new to me base that's cashmere and silk, so you can compare it to Syrian silk or mohair and silk, but instead of your mohair or your suri, it's cashmere, and it's gorgeous. And this is a new colorway, and it doesn't have a name yet. Maybe mermaid something, because yeah, it reminds me of the sea, really. Then I dyed a sweater quantity of Hebrides, which is one of your favorite, I know, on Extrafine Fingering. So sweater quantity available in the shop. And the next colorway is called Rose Ancienne. Rose Ancienne, and again it's a very light background color with a lot of speckles. And this time the background color is a pink beige, and there are some green, but golden green, purple, pink purple, and brown, light brown speckles. Rose Ancienne. Then I dyed this yummy colorway, it's called Chocolate Fudge, and I dyed this on mohair and silk and on yak and silk. So that's so yummy, that's gorgeous, that you could really, I mean, it's, if you loved the chocolate, it's like some warm hot chocolate you want to jump into. No, who would like to bathe in chocolate? Not me. Never. But it's yummy. And then there's this lovely colorway called Hellebore that I haven't dyed since I think February of 2020. So I don't know why, because I love it. I love it. It's a pale beige background with speckles of green, purple, green and purple, and it's a mix. Well, no, I'm sorry, it's not a beige background, it's a mix of very light green and very light purple with beige, and speckles of green and purple and mahogany. And it reminds me, the name is Hellebore. I don't know the name in English. It's the name of a flower that blossoms in winter. Hellebore. With an H. Hellebore. No, my hand. Okay. And this is on Suri and silk. The same colorway on Suri and silk. Then I tried to dye Chinon on Silked Fluff, and it's gorgeous as usual with this base. I mean, it's always gorgeous on this base. So that's a deep burgundy. And the last colorway is called Autumn Rainbow, and it's on single and 100% superwash merino, extra fine merino, and mohair and silk. And it's a pale yellow base with a lot of speckles, gold, almost orange, moss green, Caribbean blue, purple, fluorescent purple, and then fluorescent lemon and mahogany all over. And it's gorgeous. I love that colorway so much, and it would be just beautiful in a love note. So everything is in the shop. I hope you see something you like. Also for the next, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks or so, I think there will be new markers in the weeks in the shop every week. So the weeks, this week markers is a restock on a previously in stock marker. That's the little fox. Little foxes. I know you loved them so much. They went out of stock almost immediately. And this time around I have 2 more. So that's 6 of them. And they are really, really cute. Like they're a bit sleepy and cuddled on themselves. And the colors are beautiful. You have some girly foxes, some boy fox. They're really cute. Really, really cute. So, yeah, there is this one as well. So cute. So those are in the shop as well. So 6 of them. Oh yes, and what I wanted to tell you is that you will have from now on the choice for the clasp. You have this kind of clasp, which is called a dormeuse, which is basically an earring. So what's good about this is that you can open it, and it also fits on the needle directly without opening. You can also choose the regular lobster clasp, or just the simple ring. So I will put some pictures on the listing for you to choose from. But yeah, this is shown with the dormeuse, which I think is a great alternative, because you can use it both ways, like a progress marker or a regular stitch marker. So that's pretty versatile. Otherwise, you can choose the lobster claw, I think, lobster clasp, the name is, or the regular ring. Okay, so that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I was super happy to spend some time with you. Hopefully the episode will be online at the same time as the French one, like on Monday at 5 p.m. I will do my best for it to happen that way, and I wish you a super good week. I hope you will have lots of time to craft, and I wish you all the best. See you very soon. Bye bye. Ciao.